I can't believe it. There are 4 of those things around the island, maybe more, and I'm forced to work here for 2 more days. It's ridiculous, not to mention mentally draining. I had another nightmare last night. I dreamt I was stuck in some kind of pirate attraction, down deep below this place. I was then face to face with this giant Mickey Mouse suit. It looked official, and unlike the other toons here, this one looked human. It looked exactly like the Mickey Mouse from the 1960s, 1970s era, except this one had a blank face, its eyes were missing, and it looked filthy and torn. Its neck tilted slightly when it caught sight of me. It then dashed at me full speed, with clear intention of killing me. My feet were rooted to the ground, and I had no way to move. I heard a loud ear-splitting scream. Then I shot awake in a sweat. I was panting, so out of breath from that horrific nightmare. I eventually nutted up and proceeded back to the office, knowing I had only 2 more nights to survive. It was 11:55 on the clock when I arrived. I decided to check all around the cameras. I could not risk missing out on any key bits of information. I noticed something that seemed impossible. The place looked far more worse for wear than it was yesterday. Many of the wooden props that once stood have now been snapped and left strung out on the floor. Much of the glass remaining in the windows and one of the TVs in the broadcasting room was now smashed. I didn't take these creatures for kleptomaniacs and home wreckers, so my guess was as good as any as to the fate of this place. Confused, I continued looking around the cameras, and it paid off, because I noticed something. There was a roof camera that I had not picked up on last night, and that is where I assumed the face to be before he went onto the attack. No wonder why I could hear him shuffling and banging above me. The thing was somehow crawling through the ventilation shaft to get to me, but at least now I know where that thing is attacking from. But now, it was 12 AM, time for the hell on earth to commence. 30 minutes went by and nothing eventful happened, just the occasional moving of a toon here and there, just swapping rooms spastically. I got a call from Greg. This one seemed different. His voice was a little bit more panicked than usual, and the call did not last long, and all he mentioned was pirate caverns before the call abruptly cut off. It was 1 AM, and photonegative Mickey was now in the staff area, but he looked changed. His vacant eyes that usually would be staring into the camera were gone. It had no eyes to speak of anymore. Only hollow darkness where they used to be remained. His ears also looked like it had been lit on fire. Parts of it looked as if it was melting right before my eyes. His colours had also turned into a much more noticeably dark shade. Those were all of the changes that I could decipher. Then he disappeared into the shadows as the camera went to static. Why the cameras turn to static when these things move, I shall never know. But nevertheless, I heard Oswald say, "Why was I?" After hearing that, I looked around, and he was right next to the Treasure Island sign. I swore on my life that damn sign had changed to Discovery Island, and I wonder if I'm slowly falling into madness. But I had no time to question my sanity. I flipped up the camera and switched it off. And Oswald was gone. Right after Oswald appeared into my office, photonegative Mickey did too. His dead vacant face stared directly at me. I heard him say, However, the mouse was no match for my reflexes, so I turned off the camera, and he vanished in defeat. I heard the bang on the roof again, and realised, the roof camera, so I flipped it up, and surely enough, the face with its pointy bat ears was indeed there. It's climbing into my office via the vents, which led directly to me. The damn thing was clever, I'll give it that. But he wasn't here yet, so I didn't need to worry, yet. That disembodied Donald Duck head was back on my desk, quacking loudly. This thing also looks more melted than it should be, and its beak was crumpled in at certain points. I immediately brought up my camera, swapped to the meat locker feed, and turned it off. He then appeared back into his usual spot facing away from the camera. However, after dealing with Donald, I heard something say,
"Real suffering is not known."
And immediately following that, I heard awful music. It sounded like banging on a piano, and there was only one place here that had a working TV, the broadcasting room. I checked the camera, and I saw another toon. This one was yet another Mickey Mouse. However, it wasn't photo negative or coloured normally. This one was entirely coloured a dismal and sad grey colour, except for its ears, which remained a dark black colour. However, I do know this character. I was more dumbfounded by the fact of how the heck this character was even here. That grey Mickey is the same one from the rumoured lost episode of Disney called Mickey Mouse in Hell. At least, that's what I assumed. However, when it appeared into one of the few remaining lights, I noticed this wasn't a Mickey. Rather, its deformed face made it look like another obscurish character. It looked like Mortimer Mouse, Mickey Mouse's rival, except he had the dark colorations of the 1930s grayscale Mickey. Regardless of how this toon was even here, it made sense why he said real suffering is not known. He was a mix of the two. Mortimer was now in the character prep. His head was noticeably askew as he was facing the left of the room. The face then tumbled out of the vent and landed right in front of my desk, and he too looked noticeably different than he was. His face was noticeably meltier than it was, and its coloration was much more worn. Its jaw was still agape and wide with intent to murder. I shut off the camera, and it retreated back to the roof. After dealing with that thing, Mortimer then appeared in the corner of my office. He said,
"The sights of hell bring its viewers back in."
Photonegative Mickey also walked in. He didn't say anything, but he simply laughed his demonic laugh. I had no time to do anything, and I just ran away from the office. I was not dying here, no matter what. The toons were attempting to run after me, but I was too quick for them. I kept going, but I was almost out of breath. The footsteps from the others had ceased, which had given me some time to catch my breath and compose myself. When I was calmer, I saw a door which had Pirates Caverns written above it. This was the place that Greg was talking about. Luckily, the door was easy to bust open due to the rusting metal that was holding it in place being very easy to break. I quickly dashed inside and hoped to God that no toon saw me go in. I looked around and saw that this area was rather large. It had multiple rooms of broken and strung around equipment. I saw broken attractions and pirate barrels. I saw a room which caught my eye. It had multiple TVs and a desk which was untouched. It turned out this area was again even more larger than I originally thought. There was an elevator which appeared functional. I quickly scrambled inside and took it down while frantically pressing the down arrow. Some relaxing elevator music played as I stood with my anticipation brewing. Eventually, the doors parted and I was greeted with a new sight. These were long corridors, all decorated in the pirate-styled theming. I was nearing what appeared to be another room when I heard heavy breathing behind me. I turned around and saw it. It was the giant Mickey costume that I saw in my nightmares, blank-faced and all. I didn't know what to do, so I just froze as it stared me down with intent. Rather than taking the opportunity to finish me off, it, oddly, walked away, like I wasn't even there. Was that thing blind? Well, I certainly wasn't complaining. I slowly tiptoed down the remaining corridors and made it to the room. I found a drawer that looked oddly in mint condition, unlike anything else in this rundown place. I popped open the drawer and found a key inside of it. I snatched up the key and placed it into my pocket. Who knows what it could go to? But I wasn't sticking around this place to see if that Mickey thing had changed its mind on killing me. So I walked back down the corridors, standing still once again when the thing stopped me at the flight of stairs. I quickly made it into the elevator and rode it back up. I made it back to where I'd started. However, as I was turning to leave, the face was right in front of me. The thing had somehow followed me down here while I was down into the corridors. I then quickly dashed out of there and ran down a flight of stairs, making noises in other rooms to try and deceive the tune that was hot on my trail. The room I'd went into had a massive chest in the middle of it. It took a key to open. Thank God I had that previous key with me. I attempted to use it to open the chest, and surprisingly it worked. Inside of this chest was another key. A key for a key. What kind of place has that? But before I could process my confusion, the face was back and was about to jump onto me. Quickly thinking, I flashed a light at him and jumped over him, noticing that he was much smaller than me, so I took that to my advantage. As I was running away, I noticed a clock. The time had read 6:30 PM. God damn, I've been down there for 3.5 hours. As I was leaving Pirate Caverns, I heard the face say, I sprinted out of Pirate Caverns and made it back to my office. The tunes were nowhere to be found. I arrived at the office and nobody was there. I turned to leave through my exit when I heard something say, but I was out of there before anything else had happened. 3 nights were down, 2 more to go.